I gotta let knowledge be heard.
My name is Elijah Cole. I'm the founder and creator of Shepherd brand. Pretty much the general basis of my brand and the representation of it is pretty much stems from my background, you know, religiously and spiritually. My grandfather was a pastor and the name of his church was Good Shepherd. So I decided to name my brand Shepherd because he always instilled in me and my brothers and my cousins to be like leaders, you know, to be the head and not the tail, if you heard of that reference before.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So what was your first experience where you realized like designing was like really calling to you?
I mean, as a young dude, I always had like swag and character. A lot of people known I was into the arts. Like I would have my stuff in exhibits, you know, in my memorial libraries at Delphi University. So what it stemmed from was, I mean, I pretty much shied away from it because I felt like, you know, there was always a stigma behind being a designer, you know. But shunned away from it at first until I got to high school, and a lot of my guidance counselors told me like I should get involved in it. I'm like, dang, there's a lot of people cheering for me. So I started getting into it, and it was about like 10th grade where I started focusing on my own designs.
Right.
And I ended up loving it, you know. I feel like fashion is more of an art thing for me instead of like, you know, materialistic shit.
Right.
Yeah.
That first design, what was it that you did?
My first design, of my logo was actually a sheep in a human form.
Right.
And a lot of people was kind of scared of it because it was almost looking demonizing, you know, it was a person that was like an animal creature. So I had to, you know, make it a little bit more friendly.
Yeah.
So I did like the 3 sheep. That's my logo now.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was it that when you made the jump from like working, you know, from a press t-shirt or just a simple logo to jumping into leather, denim, everything like that?
I first started off with distressing. I did not know how to sew, like use a sewing machine or anything. Like I jumped into college not knowing how to sew or anything, so I was shitty at doing that shit. And excuse my language, but you know.
Bro.
Yeah, I know y'all don't care, but I know that some of my people that's gonna watch it. But you know, forget it. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much I was trash at sewing, man, and it would get on me at school, like, yeah, like, yo, like, you know, the teachers was like, yo, are you sure this? I mean, the teachers knew that I was creative, but they was like, you know, are you sure this is like for you? You know, you don't know how to sew or anything, you know, and I didn't put no time and effort into really learning how to sew. I was like, yo, these designs are gonna go through anyway because people love them. They love the way my concepts go. They love the engineering and everything, and pretty much they like, pretty much I was like the outsider, you know, the outcast pretty much. It's crazy. I mean, I was friends with some of these people, but it was like, yo, they didn't want to help me or assist me in anything. I mean, eventually I learned over time because I was like, yo, I don't have the funds to support manufacturing right now, so I'm gonna have to learn how to design. So around my last years of design school, I got into actually constructing garments, and you know, after I graduated, like my fashion show, I actually did my thing. I actually did my thing on my fashion show. It was like, you know, a memorable moment, like a highlighted moment in my life where I was like, dang, like if I put my time and persistence into something, I could actually achieve it, you know. Put in the hours and the hard time, and I actually done something. And, you know, I came out to be one of the best designers for that show that year. People loved my stuff.
If your work is more inspired by lifestyle, or do you do it to represent like a movement / era?
Nah, that's crazy. Like I would say both, honestly. Like I said, it's more of an art thing to me. So it's just how I feel in the moment. like even when I listen to music, sometimes I make a garment or I style myself to like that time and era of music, you know, that influences me as well. Cause music, like especially in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was very timeless. And you know, I like to get back to that time sometimes with some of my garments. Also, it's a lifestyle too, because the stuff that I make, I don't target it towards a certain customer. You know, a lot of brands target it towards a certain identity. I just make it like pretty much for stuff that I want to be in my closet, but also want everybody to come out with swag and culture. That's like the main importance for me, is coming out with your own swag and culture, your own identity when you go outside, so you could be confident in yourself and the way you look. Yeah, so it's a lifestyle, and also it's like, you know, an influence on music, you know.
Yeah, nah,
art and music, I feel like is life, you know.
Art imitates life, definitely.
Exactly.
So when you first started, like how long did it really kind of take you to like find a certain swagger? Like, was there some beginner's luck to it, or did you have the rough patch first, then you're like, all right, now I got the ball rolling?
Nah, I never even felt like that. Like I said, a lot of people, it's not even just the people, I felt in myself like, yo, this is it. Like for every one of my designs, I never felt like, yo, like I had like writer's block. You know how people have writer's block when they write in a book or writing a verse for a song, or that's pretty much for me for fashion. I never felt like that. You know, when it becomes not that fun, I would just stop, you know. But so far it's been fun for me, you know. That's the one thing I like to have, is control over my art. If I can't have control over my art, then what am I doing it for?
Right. Now, when you say control, how much outside influence do you let into your perspective of your brand? You know, whether it is like a peer's point of view, or kind of like you sold it to somebody, one of the models or something like that, where they give an input. How much of that perspective do you allow in, or do you kind of just always have like a grasp around your brand, and you know that's like solidified?
That's funny, because you know a lot of people, like the thing about it, I like working with other creatives. You know, I like, of course, having my image for my brand to represent my image, but also when it's on someone else, I would let them, like, you know, impute their own creative thought to it, you know. But if I feel like it's stemming away from, like, you know, the culture and the swag of the attire, you know, I'm talking about for my shows though. Like if they're in the streets, you can rock it anyway, because like I said, it's following your identity. I can't, you know, like I wouldn't, like, you know, of course I would like to have an impact, but I can't. You should have your own influence in your life, you know. I feel like, you know, everybody has influences, but you should, you know, as an adult, like, you know, as a young person or an individual, you should have your own, you know, creativity to yourself, your own demeanor, your own identity. I say identity a lot though, because, you know, a lot of people are lost, like, from their own identity, you know, I feel like.
Right. Now, what was something that you weren't like really quite prepared for when you jumped into design? They were like, oh, I don't think this is gonna be that big of a deal, or it was like the last thing you would think would be a problem that really became something that you had to hone in on and focus as time had gone by?
I mean, I would definitely say it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice being an owner of your own brand, you know, without, you know, the funds to support you. Of course, you gotta be also like, you gotta be very posed sometimes, because it's like you can't like just allow anybody into your creative thought process, or anybody to just invest, because they may not have the right intentions for you. You know, some people try to take control of your things, and then that's when this feels like, you know, you sold yourself, you know?
Yeah.
For real, you should always like want to own your own entities, your own assets, I feel like. And once it becomes a job to you, you would hate it. So I'm saying, like, what's challenging, of course, supporting the funds towards it, because I had to hold a lot of things back, you know. I was supposed to drop a website a long time ago, but you know, life, life happens, you know what I'm saying? And I would never rush it. Like we was just talking about before, you can't force things, to happen because bad things start to come into play. Like if you start forcing things before time, like, oh, maybe I should just do this step to get here faster, that's when things start tumbling down on you. Like, God has a way of working. You gotta just trust the process.
What was your favorite thing to do, like when you're creating?
Man, when I'm creating, bro, I like to present something new every single time. Like, even when it comes up to like the pockets, like simplistic shit, I like to always give something, provide something new, like to anything. If it's a vest, I'm gonna throw 3 pockets on it, the zips. Right. Plastic pockets, a pocket on the back. I don't know if you need to use that, Like I just love providing a new substance, to outerwear, evening wear, not evening wear, but outerwear. Even though some of my clothes is a collage, that's what my designs are. I call it street couture, street couture pretty much. It's like high fashion streetwear. I would like put leathers with denim or whatever, just smash it up together, make it a ready to go wear. You can just go outside and rock it. Then go to an event. It's for everyday type of wear type of thing. But it's also like it's something that you feel like, yo, this is like a haute couture type of design or concept. Yeah.
Alright, so what's your favorite thing to make? Is it jeans, vests, t-shirts? What's your favorite ones to
definitely jeans, I always have an aesthetic for jeans, even with the Velcro strap pants that I have with the leather in the front and the 3M when it opens, so when it's nighttime and the traffic lights hits off it, you can just see the the beams of light coming out of the pants. And the back of it is, denim. Also vests, that accessories, that's what I've been getting into, and I peeped that before, high fashion even started getting into that. Now you see in the runway shows, it's like focused on the accessories. They have like little jewelry pockets out of the vests. Now of course that's heavy in almost every industry. The t-shirts, the merch that they sell on the side, the scarves, the pocket pouches, the bags, the fanny pack bags. For real, I always peeped that first, and I was like, yo, that is gonna be the next wave. And even with colors, sometimes I see the colors before time. And
what's your favorite way of filtering out what makes it onto which piece, or what you're gonna use specifically?
That's crazy because sometimes I have a difficulty doing colors for certain items. Like I already have the vision of how I want the concept down already for the garment, how it's gonna be engineered and everything. But I'm like, yo, what color is gonna go with this garment? Should it be like, a neutral color, because the thing about it, like, I put concepts into my designs, but I like it to have simplicity as well. Like I don't want to overdo a garment. Sometimes I do overdo a garment, but it comes out beautiful. But I like to keep it simple sometimes, and then sometimes something just yells at me like, yo, this needs a vibrant, needs a loud color like orange and yellow, orange fabric and yellow stitching in it. Or either the lining gotta stand out loud, like even with my trench jacket that I was just wearing earlier is a dark navy satin, but the stitching is light blue. On the inside is light blue and off-white fencing satin as well. It has a shine and luster to it. It's just beautiful. And the bottom plackets are like the Pantones of the color is light blue as the stitching,
Right.
Yeah.
And you say some pieces.
I keep it simplistic, but you can see it's like, yo, it's a lot going on with this garment if you really look at it.
I was just about to ask, because you said sometimes you feel like they overdo it on the garment. So
yeah.
What do you think is overdoing it really?
When you put too much like too much is going on, like, you know, like say if I put like, you know, too many pockets on the pants, or, you know, too much color, you know, I try to keep the colors in the same base, you know, like, you know how like every fashion show has like a limited of probably, it may have 24 colors, but they complement each other or whatever. I try to keep it a limit of like 6 sometimes, or 7. 7, that's, you know, the number. I try to keep them all like in the same Pantone, like around the same, complementing each other.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like to get too carried away with color and concept. Even though I like providing new concepts, it's just, you gotta keep in mind that like, yo, would somebody wear this, you know? Like, or would I wear this, you know?
So do you feel that each garment kind of like has a personality per se?
Yeah, definitely. Each garment has a personality. Like each garment can be like, yo, I feel like, you know, I'm Shaft, you know, like I'm a superhero. Nah, for real, I'm a superhero. Or like, you know, today I'm a businessman. Or today, you know, I'm super fly. Like, for real, like it could be just different. Like it could just be different, you know, that hustler, that corporate guy, or, you know, or that spiritual guy, you know. Right. It could be anything, like, it could be anything, you know.
Right. So, do you feel that you've put more pressure on yourself as you grow? And like, how do you kind of deal with that?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Like, sometimes I feel like
since
you know,
since you got so much better, like it's kind of like I have to keep it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, I feel what you're saying, because like I spoke to a lot of people this year, man. People that actually have good intentions for me. People that are even like you too, man. Like, this is dope. But people that be like, yo, sometimes you should, like, you know, like be simplistic, because like even more simpler, like, you know, just doing t-shirts and hoodies. I even thought about it, of course, you know, in my opening to my line, but it's just, it's gonna be substance to it, you know. It's not gonna be a regular dingy hoodie, a dingy t-shirt. Like, the designs are gonna pop. It's gonna be like, dang, yo, this is my money's worth, you know. And I'm not gonna gimmick nobody, like, or, you know, cheat them out of their money. Like, I'm really handling prices well, as well as concepts well. But some people are just telling me like, yo, you should put it at this high price, and also, like, you know, limit the designs, keep it very simple. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, dang, I don't want to do that to the people, you know. Like, but then again, it's like, you know, some people fake support you, you know. So it's like, yo, people support stuff that's expensive. Ironically, it's crazy. Like, we got to get out of that state of mentality that like, oh, yo, I'm gonna buy this Gucci shirt for $300, and it just have one regular simple Gucci logo, you know. It's like, yo, like, those were knockoff designs. Those were sold in Canal Street for the longest. Like, you know, everybody was shunning it. Now everybody's supporting it. It's like, it's going, and it's like some of your friends actually have dope designs that you can invest. And these shirts be like $40, $50. You know? Right,
some people would call that too much, because they feel that you should sell a shirt for $25.
Yeah, yo, I'm your bro, man. Give me the shirt for free. Like, it's like, come on, like, yo, how am I gonna eat? You know, how am I gonna
get fly?
Yeah, how am I gonna ever elevate if you don't support me? You know, and then after a while, that support becomes a hate. You know, it's like, yo, you still doing this? Like, you know?
Yeah,
for real.
So how have you seen your process of creating change throughout the years?
Like, how do I see it elevate?
From a personal standpoint, like, just kind of from a general consensus, personally.
Nah, it definitely has elevated, you know, definitely has elevated. It's just that, you know, I don't know. You know, I definitely see, like, you know, my garments came out much better than where I started from. I could just say that from jump, you know. I didn't know how to do lining, I didn't know how to do finishes, you know. And that's very important to being a designer, you know, even though there are a lot of designers that had funds behind them from the beginning, because that's the type of stuff that I was on, you know. I had the concept, I was like, yo, I'm gonna have somebody make this for me anyway. You should always, if you're really dedicated to doing something, you know, passionate about doing something, you should know how to make it from the ground, from your hands, you know? Like, because that's where you're gonna get your best ideas and your concepts for something if you know how to construct a garment. You know, I had to learn technical, you know, in school. So finally when I succeeded in it, I started to see how better my garments could come out. Sometimes I would have the idea out, but when I started making it, I come up with a better idea for the concept or whatever, the way I was gonna engineer the design. But also, it's the support too. You know, it's funny because we was just talking about it a second ago. Like, you know, people that know you, they don't support as much. It's crazy, but it's like now in this world, you gotta travel too. My friends are some of my friends are artists, so they travel, and I give them garments to go like wherever, like Canada. There's people, a flood of people out there that like my stuff that want to support me. There's people from California. One of my friends that actually just came to New York. His name is Brandon. He came over here, and he was just giving me jewels. We was dropping jewels on each other, and pretty much his father owns a brand as well for accessories, and you know they're doing very well. They meet into artists and stuff like that. That's when I started to know, like, yo. Like, you know, even though I knew it within myself, I just knew, like, you know, I'm elevating slowly, you know, slowly but surely, you know. I don't want to do it too fast and then, you know, right. Stuff started tumbling down. Like, I'm patient with it, you know, I'm seeing, you know, stuff going.
Yeah. So as your work is growing, you would say your network is growing?
Yeah, my network has grown, yeah, definitely my network has grown.
Right.
Yeah, the relationships that I've been able to build, you know, from running my own brand.
So with both of those, I feel that they both come with like, it's kind of like dropping a habit, you know what I mean? It's kind of like stopping biting your nails, you know? Mm-hmm. So since your network has grown with your fashion, what are like some things that you've had to drop from like fashion wise, and then personally, like you kind of like realize like, all right, I kind of got to leave this in the past since I'm going up, I kind of got to shed some weight.
Yeah, definitely, definitely I've been staying focused on like working and saving as well. Like I used to party a lot more. I don't really party that much, you know. It's like adulthood pretty much for me, you know. I'm paying rent, so I'm saving. I work 2 jobs. I gotta save and invest in my brand. And like, so every little time I get, I gotta put my time forward into designing, you know, but I love designing, that's what I'm saying. Like, so like, it's like you have to make a sacrifice at a certain point. It's like, yo, what are you gonna do with this time off? You gonna go out, you're gonna do what you gotta do to get yourself and your brand out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many fashion shows have you done?
Like in total, how many fashion shows have I done? And the funny part about it, I told myself I'm not doing any fashion shows collaborated anymore. I'm doing my own fashion show next time, but I've done, I think about 3 or 4 fashion shows. So, I think 3. I was down at 3 probably.
So what's best and worst? Because I gotta know.
See, that's why that stems back to my point. Next time I'm doing a fashion show, it gotta be my own fashion show. The last fashion show I did, I'm not gonna front, I liked it the most out of the other 2, you know, I could see it evolving because the location was right and everything, but it just, dang, my friend's gonna kill me, you know, she gonna kill me, but it just wasn't as orthodox as I wanted it to be, you know, and that's not even just, you know, it's just her, you know, it was just, you know, the attitudes around that show, you know, right, and what I seen after, it's like, things wasn't properly, you know, organized the way I would want it to be, you know, even though they did a great job for their first show. I'm not shunning them. Next year I know they're gonna kill it.
You use the word orthodox, and that's something that is definitely like falling by the wayside as everybody's doing this creative, whether it is fashion, media, or whatever it is. Like everything has become so much more unconventional. So do you feel that sometimes that's become like something kind of like blinds people? That orthodox is something that
no. In art, all right. Let me like say in art, things are not supposed to be like. I mean, it depends. Like, you know, a runway show You know why I said that? Because in my eyes, you know, what I envision, you know, what like would have been beautiful for the show is like, you know, the way things were timed, like the timing. In fashion show, of course, you got to keep things at a timely manner. You know, you can't pause it too much. You know, if you pause it too much, people start getting distracted. You know, from the show. And what you got to learn in a fashion show, you got to keep everyone's like focus and focal point is at your work. You know, at all times, even if the show stops, it has to be like an image or something, like, you know, like certain lights or colors or something like that, just to keep the focus on, like, you know, oh, the color of this, the you know, the colorway of these garments or this way, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. If it's just like stagnant at one point, people are not gonna, like, you know, focus on the show. And that's just talking about the show, though, of course, you know. Right. But with art, like, nah, I mean, of course, things are not gonna always be orthodox, and sometimes that's the beauty of it. Like, sometimes, like, things like you make a garment and something will spill on it, and it end up looking beautiful, you know. Yeah. For real. Like, I was actually doing a shoot this summer, and my leather jacket got. We was shooting with flash bombs or something like that, and the color started to spill on the garment. I was thinking, like, dang, son, like these things are not coming out. But as I start to wipe it, it started to shed on the garment, and it looked good. Like, the burnout looked good on the yellow leather biker jacket. So I was like, yo, I'm just gonna rock with this. Yeah. This is the final touch. Yeah. For real. And the funny part about that photo shoot, it came out fire, man. Shout out to my homie. Could I do that? Yeah, I don't, you know. Shout out to you too, my boy Frez. He's dope. My son also, Kira Diaz. He's a great photographer. Somebody stole his photo shoots that month, and those photos came out fire, man. I felt bad for him too, because he thought of the idea of the flash bombs, and those photos came out dope. The world would never see it, man.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a point in time where you worked on your art where you like kind of got clouded, but like, what do you think is the clarity that comes from like kind of losing, you know, your head at a moment like that, and kind of like
what keeps me on the same path? That's what you said?
Yeah, like what's the, not even the same path, because I feel that when you have a moment like that, there's like a resolution that comes to mind, you know, afterwards. So what do you think is like something beautiful that happens out of, you know, destruction?
Dang. I mean, you can't even explain it sometimes. Like, you can't.
Like, when everything kind of like goes unexpected, like what do you get out of that?
Alright, so when things don't go like pretty much your way.
Exactly. Like, when things get crazy, you know, what's the best part that comes out of that whole process? Because a lot of people, they can let that take them under, you know, and hold them down rather than like
suppress them. Yeah, exactly. Like, what brings me through? I mean, I definitely like have a prayer life, man. Yo, and I thank God for it, because like, yo, not even the beginning of this year, like probably like 4 months into this year, like I lost my job, and plus that's when I just moved into, like, you know, a new apartment with my family, so we was paying rent, and whatchamacallit, it's like I had to keep on going with this, and I was like, dang, like my money is running short. And I was supposed to get a website done too, so everything got held back to the back burner. And I was like, dang, man, like, I'm like, yo, what am I gonna do, man? I started going back to church, getting my relationship right with God, because I always have a relationship, but you know, it's just like sometimes you just hold things off to the side, like, and you gotta remember who got you to the certain places, and you know, got you certain blessings in life. Sometimes we hold things, we ask for things and we get it, but then we forget, like, yo, God, you really held me down for this. Yeah. So I started getting my spirituality back, and you know, I was blessed, you know, this year getting 2 jobs, man, like 2 jobs, not even 1 but 2, and they paid more than my last jobs, you know. Definitely having a prayer life, you know, keeping your relationship close to God, man. And I talked to him just like I was talking to a friend, you know, just like, yo, guy, like, I need help in this situation, like, and you know, he made a way for me, you know. So that's normally what gets me out of tough situations, you know, when I feel like things are crashing and burning, and then ideas just start coming.
Right.
And there's some ideas I haven't even presented yet, like, you know, this is just the opening, you know, like, I got stuff that's my own couture line.
Like you said, it's kind of something that's unexplainable because, you know,
it is.
You know what you got after everything,
Yeah.
but you don't know like how you felt, you know, during it. Like you don't know what that thought process was. Like once you reach your final process, you don't know exactly what you were thinking. Like that got you there. Like one day it all just clicks. So
Exactly.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Exactly.
Alright, so what's been your biggest challenge between like keeping your artistic integrity and like making and like pleasing, you know, consumer fan base?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I never really focus on a target customer. Like when I make garments, it's stuff that I want to be in my closet. But also, I feel like
you gotta sell to people.
Huh?
But you gotta sell to people. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. But you see, that's the one thing that I stem away from. Like, yo, like I feel like sometimes I do that. You know, like I feel like let me do this way, but then I'm like, yo, I gotta stay focused on my creativity. Like, I want this in my closet, like, you know, and you know why that makes mine's like better in a way, because I mean, not to shun any other designers. Like, I I love designers. I love brand Louis Vuitton, of course, Gucci, and all those brands, the whole couture brands, Christian Dior. But I never stayed true to the target customer, man. That's what I feel like helps me, like, you know, continue to go further, you know, and people support it because people like it. Like, yo, I never seen that before. Like, that's crazy. I like that. Like, for real. That's what my aesthetic is. Like, it's something, providing something new that people haven't seen before.
It leads.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is about. And you know, I run into a lot of designers that come up like, yo, there's no such thing as a new idea. But I don't run my focus on that type of thing. Like, I feel like, yo, yeah, it's always something to revamp or create something new. You know, I don't look at other people's work on purpose. I don't study certain designers on purpose so I can keep my own creative process. You know, exactly. And it's funny because I was just looking at a Jay-Z interview and he was saying something close to that. He's like, I don't really listen to like that much of the new music. You know, like I stay on my own pace, you know, to keep my own creative process. It's crazy. I'm like, I feel the same way. Like, I don't really study these designers like that,
Right.
you know, because that's gonna mess with your creative process. You're gonna start thinking like, oh man, like I want to revamp his idea, or something like that, or keep it, you know. And it's cool, like being in touch with historic fashion, you know. But I like to provide something new every single time.
Yeah, it's very easy to get
Every
lost.
single time.
Some people that have a moment of self-doubt, like, damn, maybe I should edit the way that this director is doing the music video.
Yeah, because it's like everybody's on this wave, like, nah, man.
Right.
Nah, man, and I get exactly what you're saying. I feel like everybody, especially like, you know, everybody is, you know, like in that, you know, eclectic realm, and you don't even know who's really been doing it this long or not, you know. I mean, you know, and I can't even really blame it because like there's always an era of fashion where everybody is in the same type of style. Like even in retro time, like you remember, I know, I'm pretty sure people watching this, they remember the retro era, and that was probably around like 2008, 2009, where everybody was getting light, dancing and stuff like that, wearing the red pants and stuff like that. I used to do that shit too.
Polo Rangers.
Huh?
Polo Ranger boots.
Exactly, man. I had the shell toe Adidas, man. I had all that, man. So like I already get like, you know, everybody staying with a certain safe, you know. But I feel like now we've grown so much, and this generation is actually smart, like, you know, because we tech savvy and stuff like that. But we also gotta start being leaders too. That's one thing. Like we're proving that we're fearless. We gotta start being leaders, like, you know, stop following certain ways, find your own identity.
And a lot of people, you find out within God, you know, kind of like to walk on your path.
Yeah, exactly.
So a lot of people, they kind of don't know how to just let go of what they've always known and, you know, walk their path. So what is something that like you feel could aid, you know, somebody like really just to start walking on that path, you know?
Like I said, man, get a relationship with God, man. I'm telling you, it's and it's not about like, you know,
church thing either, because God is something that is it's higher power. It's not something that stepped in the church. It's something that, you know, you were born into this body in this place, you know, to interact with these people. So it's not something that is necessary.
God created you. He created this world. And what is more important is not finding faith in man. That's what a lot of people fail at. They find faith in man. Man disappoints everyone, you know. You should have your own personal relationship. That's the key. If you have your own personal relationship. See, that's the problem. A lot of people be finding their spirituality through other people instead of stemming it within, you know, looking for it for yourself, you know, developing that relationship and speaking to him yourself, you know. You know, and I feel like that's the key. That's the key to life. You gotta have your own relationship and not focus on men. You know? Because
it can be difficult for somebody to realize what's the difference between, you know, their intuitive voice and like the self-doubt voice.
Exactly.
The intuitive voice is kind of like the voice of God, I feel.
Yeah, nah, it is. It's your spirit, man. Like sometimes you go against your gut feeling and you're let down every single time. I mean, you go against it, you get let down
every single time, man.
Every single time, almost every single time. That's your spirit telling you, like, yo, listen, you shouldn't even be doing that.
Yeah.
For real, nah. I mean, I still be feeling with it sometimes too, but I've grown and matured and I learned from my mistakes. You know?
Yeah, for real. In your case, to improvement, like something that you're always able to rely on, like, all right, I'm kind of like at a place where I need to jump up to a new level. So what's something that you'll do every single time? Well, not every single time, but like, you know, could get you back to that moment. Like, all right, boom, it's go time.
Sometimes when I see people around me achieving, that motivates me, you know. And for some people that don't, you know, some people start hating, like when they see somebody like you know, make it somewhere, like, you know, like, yo, I knew this person and they doing great, yo, man. Like, yo, like these people were placed around me for a reason, you know. Like, I'm glad for them and I congratulate them, you know. That's what you gotta do. People be focused on other people too much, especially nowadays. They be like, yo, this person is doing that, man. I remember when you was a bum. And that's New York too. That's New York. I think that's New York. We got a different planet over here. But for real, like, but not even, you know, not even just that. Our people be hating on each other too much, and we gotta start sticking together and motivating each other. Like, how could you be mad at somebody else for succeeding? Like, you don't see that often. So when you see somebody that you know is succeeding, it's like, dang, that should motivate you. Like, yo, we all can do this. Right. If we stick together even more, like, it'll be, yo, we can support each other. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people look down, you know, and go up. You gotta tell yourself, like, listen, man, when I make it, I'm gonna help you too, man.
Yeah, for real. Sure. So you would say that your key to improvement is always like staying on like a higher energy frequency, like always being like, you know, positive, like, oh. Yeah, being around people since everything is going good, now it's my time to do good. You know
exactly, man, and it makes you feel good within. Like, this is what you want to do, help other people, you know? Especially when somebody's doing good. That's what everybody need to focus. If you have a dream and the people around you don't have a dream, I mean, like, you know, or aspire to do anything but just sit on the couch and smoke all day, it's like, dang, son, like, for real. And it's not to shut down on them, but like, maybe you could bring them up with you at some time, but if you're gonna stay like with those people, that they're gonna stagnate you. And, you know, after a while, you will just become that person that just start doubting yourself, like, man, I can't do this, man. Look at the people I'm around, they still doing this.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, for real, you gotta move around. That's even with jobs sometimes. Can't get too comfortable. You know, when you start seeing the change, you gotta get with the time, because you let things crash and burn. And that almost happened with my situation. I already seen it coming, and it was like, yo, I'm gonna just stay here, man. It happened to me, you know. You gotta move when it's time to go.
So what's next for the brand?
So what's next for the brand, man? Definitely, I'm getting a webpage done this winter or spring coming. That's a definite. So product is coming out to you. Definitely. That's next for the brand, and hopefully I could do a fashion show next year. Bring y'all to my own fashion show next year. You know, and I would get my the same teams, the art comb, also with me. You know, to help. You know, set it up because they did an excellent show. I'm not shunning them from the last show that I had. That was actually one of the best shows that I had. And I love the people. ZZ Nicole, she's definitely a dope person that I work with. And I want to keep her involved in my shows, definitely. Because I feel like she is a great creator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so appreciate your time for sure. Let the people know where they can follow you.
All right, man. You can follow me at Saint Couture, ST.COUTURE. And my brand page also is Shepherd by EC.